today's topic. It's about wounds and healing. So, if there's anything you guys want to talk about, then you can start the conversation. Any question or any experience sharing.
We can make it just interaction. So we can start with a question or something, or if you want to ask anything, we can start with that also. Hema, are you able to hear us? Can you just confirm? You are
Yes,
muted.
I'm able to hear.
Okay.
Hi, good evening.
Good evening. Good evening. Anything in particular you had in mind for today, Hema? You joined this call. Anything you wanted to know from today?
This is a good topic, like wounds and healing. Like we are on daily basis, or the in our life journey also, we are coming across with this thing, because repeatedly the same thing happening, and again we surrender the things, and still we can't able to understand either we are in that trap of wounds and healing or not. So I think so that we can go ahead with that.
Hema, what about you? Any comment from your side? What's your expectation from today?
Actually, I just thought I'd figure out how this session goes on, and then probably, I'll understand more about. I was curious about, where, you understand what causes a wound and where the healing ends, right? I just want to know when we actually, are healed with the wound.
Okay. Okay.
Hi, Sachin.
Srini, you want to say something? Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Actually, until I put my earphones, I was not able to think. I don't know, like it's problem with the phone or something. But then I thought I'll put my earphones. Now I'm able to hear you. So basically, I have a question. Like, um, when you consider something as a wound, right? How do you identify that is a wound? So probably something what other consider as a wound that could be an experience for me. So maybe I would like you to help us to understand. Okay, something does not, a bad experience can be a wound. Probably. So, but what is a more elaborative description of an wound before we
So
go,
I'll
go
use
into healing?
yeah, yeah. I'll use very simple terms to explain what we go by, and we are basing most of our e-learning journeys on this. So not all the e-learning journeys that we are creating are about healing part only. Some e-learning journeys that we are creating or will be creating is also about going to the next level. So not everything is only about healing, but definitely some level of healing is required before we go on to the next level. A wound is something which we see it as an unhealthy conditioning that you carry. So something happens in life, some experience, some instance, some incident happens in life, and in order to manage that, in order to cope up with that issue, we create some kind of belief, or we take some action in a certain way to manage it, to address it at that time. And sometimes these ways by which we do it are not very healthy ways of thinking, but they work. So, uh, so that is what we think, that the uh, the thing got resolved. The incident, whatever happened, it you survived that by picking these thought patterns, by picking this way of thinking. You survived the incident, but now this thought process, this way of thinking, reinforces itself, saying that, see, this is correct, this way of thinking is correct because I survived, because I was able to come out of this situation. So it self reinforces itself to say this is correct. So it kind of becomes like a parasite and starts living. And now That incident is gone, that situation is gone, those people are gone, but we carry this thought process in us. You can call it experience, fine, if you want to call it. Uh, the question you need to ask is that is this experience, or is whatever you call it, is this supporting you, is this nurturing you, is this helping you to grow, or is it creating fear and it is creating resistance, it is creating hesitation, it is pulling you back? If that is the case, then that is what we term as a wound. That's something which is holding you back from growing. From so, incident happened with a different person, but now you meet a new person, new incident is happening, but you are still trying to see it as an old one only, by saying this is my experience. I have been burnt before, and because of that you feel entitled to project your old impression, your old learning onto a new situation and a new person, because you feel entitled. You feel that I've learned this lesson, so I don't want to repeat this mistake. So, in the name of that, we then start projecting out, start creating what you call it, a drama in our own head, and we believe that drama is true, and we start acting on it also. This is all what I'm describing. This is all, in a nutshell, we call these wounds. Basically, is that making sense?
Absolutely, Sachin. Yeah, that's definitely answer my questions. Obviously, these incidents which we feel which doesn't give us a good experience, obviously we try to create an image of that incident or a person, and then we try to create a horror movie inside our mind, and maybe through our self-talk or self-imagination we keep repeating that. We start talking to that imaginative um, perception in our mind. That the wound becomes bigger, and we definitely need healing for that. Yeah, definitely. Thank you so much.
Yeah, and and things that have happened in past. Sometimes there could be words or incidents, or something happens now that can trigger those memories from past. So as soon as the memories get triggered, the fear and everything comes gushing in, and that is what we also term as a wound. So another way of looking at it is that when something triggers you, if an incident happens, right now, if an incident happens, and that incident makes you angry, upset, sad, depressed, whatever, that is fine. That's not an issue. So we are all emotional beings, and we will all get impacted emotionally. So problem is not emotions. What you need to watch out is, are you creating chain of thoughts from here? Is this taking you back in time, and it is reminding you something which you are now bringing from the past and now projecting? This happened to me before, now this will again happen like this, and this will happen, that will happen. So if you are bringing something from the past and creating a story out of that, and you feel that you are justified to create that story because you have experienced this and you have lived this before, then that is a wound. But if you are only getting triggered, and it's just like a knee jerk response, that somebody said something to you and you felt upset about it, or that is fine. We are all human beings, so emotions will come. Watch out that, are those emotions taking you in the past, and now you are on a train of thoughts because of that. That happening means some wound has been stepped upon.
I'll just add something to how Sachin explained this whole thing. So basically, as per my understanding, a wound, I mean, we are not just single dimensional beings. Okay, we have a body, we have a mind, we have soul, and we are like really dynamic beings. Now, when it comes to a wound is a crack on the soul at the soul level. Okay, and mind, the way the logic and analytics which we use and all the, so it's a great tool to analyze it. So I am now taking you deeper in this understanding that a wound is a crack on the soul. So if you remember yourself as a child, when you were just 2 3 years old, when Srini, you did not know that this is Srini, right? At that point of time, you had no identity. You were like a ball of mass just running around here and there, creating chaos, laughing loud, dancing, eating, pooping, doing whatever. Okay, so Srini was not Srini, Jaspreet was not Jaspreet, Vanshika, Rashmi. None of us had taken an identity at that point of time. So we were all just a bubble. Like, हम बहुत खुश थे. We were very happy and we were just living, but we were not self-aware. There was no zero self-awareness. Now, उस time पे we did not, we had a mind, we always have a mind. The mind is also a continuum. So at that point of time, we keep observing things. Now, at that point of time, I call it a crack is because if you see a crack, it divides you into two. Okay, it creates a division out of you. So when there's a crack in the body, when there's a wound in the body, it's divided into two different parts, right? So it heals itself. The body heals itself. But just like when it comes to a being, who has a mind, who has a soul, who has feelings and emotions. So when we were kids, we started observing things very objectively and we would just see. And then it's happening very subconscious. So now we also have a system, we have a software, let's say, which is the mind. It is getting stored. Everything is getting stored. And we learn things as if this is how the world operates. We did not know it before, right? And as children, we wanted to be heard and unconditionally loved and accepted, and we just wanted to be there, and that's all, right? We were just enjoying. But then something happens in your life, okay, and creates a crack creates a crack on at the soul level. When you were not accepted, you felt that you're not worthy, you felt that you're not heard, you felt that you are not loved unconditionally. You will be loved, when you do something, when you give something, then you will get something. All these things that we learn when we are growing up, by observe, not just when things happen to us, but maybe by just observing our parents. And at that point of time, to survive it, to survive the feeling of, let's suppose, unworthiness, there's a division that happens within ourselves. That we fragment ourselves because one self is which was the real one, which is hidden inside. All other things are born as a defense mechanism, as a coping mechanism, and shells after shells after shells. So the shell, just which is outside of the real self, we have forgotten that. Now we have so many shells that we cannot even see inside how many shells are there. But we have created a way of living. By what? By observing, by understanding, by seeing things around, and by experiencing it. Now, because of that crack on the soul, which literally divided us into 2, 4, 10, that is the wound which goes on. That I'm just giving this example to show the depth of what a wound could be, right? So most of our belief systems are formed when we were children, and as we were growing up, some more were formed. But every time there was a crack at that level, at the level of our being, at the level of our heart, our emotions, and that division happens. That is where a wound is. If I am able to help you guys visualize it. That is where the wound lies. And then we become like onions, big onions roaming around. And the moment something happens in our lives, be it at home, be it at work, answer ready hai. We have all the answers that, this is how it should be. This is how you should do it, and this is how I should do it, and everything. Because now we have lost the capacity to even see what's beyond those shells. So, हमने अभी JAMA, we have camouflaged it. We have started wearing goggles, and if our glasses are of green color, now we'll see it through the lens of green. And so that is the coping mechanism, and that helped us to survive it in the childhood. But the problem is, like Sachin was explaining the same thing. Now that goggle, that at that point of time when we were children, we had survival needs. But the problem is that we have already worn the goggle and we have forgotten to remove it and keep it somewhere else. Now we are roaming with green colored glasses and blue colored glasses and red colored glasses, and seeing the whole world through the lens of our shell. That this is how everything is, and we have defined it. So, and it is not as linear as I'm saying it. We are again multidimensional beings, but most of the things that happen in our life happen at a very unconscious level, and we react subconsciously, being guided by these beliefs. And that is where the healing needs to be done, so that we can open this shell and we can remind ourselves that I am not this belief, life is not this belief, other people are not this belief. There are more, there is more. So that judgment needs to be taken out for ourselves, for others, and that is what healing is. When we go back to that natural state. Somebody asked me a few days back that, uh, how would you feel if a person is less enlightened or more enlightened? So, as per my understanding, our wisdom and our healing is is shown, the more we are childlike. So I'm not using the word childish. I'm not saying we become childish. Childish is gone. Childish has gone way back. We become childlike. We inherit the characteristic of what our true nature is. Our true nature is happiness. Our true nature is joy. Our true nature is just simple bliss. That is what we were. But now, because at that point of time we had no self-awareness, now through these wounds, it is an opportunity for us to become self-aware, heal ourselves, and then again go back to becoming childlike, free and joyful and blissful. That is our natural state of being. And that does not mean that life will be free of pain and there will be no problem. Problem is there. It's still there. But we are so childlike that we take it as a play, and it becomes a play. So that is where the wounds begin. That is the whole how we process the whole healing, and then we come back to our natural state. So that also the topic of this conversation was, when does the healing end? Nobody knows. Only you can know it for yourself. And these layers of onions, there are literally hundreds and thousands of beliefs which we carry in our head. Slowly, when we shed these beliefs, we become more childlike, more compassionate. There's so much empathy and love we develop that we come closer, and the more closer we come to our natural state, our true natural state, we call it okay, let's not call it anything, but whatever our natural state is, that is where healing starts, showing results for us. Because we become free, become free of attachments, become free of all these beliefs and anything that we are carrying. Itna abhi to, so much of baggage we carry inside us, which we have not processed, which we want to process, but then we don't want to see it. We don't want to feel the pain. We are always running away. Okay, so that is why healing is supposed to be, it's not supposed to be, but it is going to be a painful process, because that thing needs to go out. And uske bhi pehle, before that, we have to acknowledge that there is dirt in my home. I am wearing shells. I am living a masked life. I am living an inauthentic life. I am not true to myself, not true to anybody. And I am seeing things through my own lenses, not the way they are. Pehle, the first step is to acknowledge that I don't know, and I'm unaware, and I'm asleep, and I need to first see things and be ready to see things. So this is how I have personally experienced my own journey, when I understood this thing, that, how the whole process goes. That's all from my side. Yeah. Went for too long. Sachin, Srini.
It's good. Yeah, it was good. I think that's good explanation. So, guys,
Beautiful point I think you mentioned. One beautiful point I think which I
Yeah, go ahead, Srini.
always
Yeah,
we are at
what is it?
unconscious level. The things happens at conscious level, and we try to react or respond at by our subconscious level. So I think the healing has to happen at subconscious level. Anamika, if I'm not wrong. So yeah, I echo. There are so much of layers of onion rings of disbeliefs, fears, um, the risk, uncertainty of events we create in our mind. Definitely, we don't know when those things heal. I think we, as one ourselves, will know when the things are have healed, and then we are on our natural track. Yeah, I think those are very beautifully expressed by you. Thank you.
Jasprit, Vanshika, Hema, Tirumalai, Reshmi. Anything to add? Any question?
Yeah, I would like to, just when you were talking about like we are dynamic beings, so I was curious to understand that like we have taken a lot of, बार बार हम लोग हमारा rebirth होता है, reincarnation and all that. So how do we recognize or how do we understand those things कि वो previous जो हमारी जर्नी रही है उसके भी wounds we are carrying somewhere. So like how do we understand that or get to that point where we can heal those wounds as well, as you said, because wounds are very very deep. So I wanted to just understand this point.
Yeah, Vanshika. So basically, the thing which we are talking right now, हम तो अभी इसी lifetime की बात कर रहे हैं. The first step is to cleanse what is there in front of you, right? And the lighter you become, so what happens then? So this is something which we are talking at the very ground level reality. This happens to all of us, but we I mean, there are so many secrets and mysticism. There's so much mysticism of the universe, our intuition being one of them. Okay, so our intuition is one of the most mystical, magical thing. So when you cleanse these, because see, unless you work on these regular lifetime wounds which are going on with you, you'll always remain confused, even if you're given a cue given a cue intuitively that this could be from the past life. But if you clear these things, अभी जो सामने dirt दिख रहा है, just a moment. Yeah, when you clean the dirt which is available, in front of you, then you create space for more to show up. And that is why we say, healing is a long, like lifetimes of process. Because that is how it is, because there's so much we are bringing from the past. Then we create space so that we can see things, from a very bigger picture. Abhi, right now, the whole point is to pay attention to where we are and heal that, and one step at a time, like one step at a time. And there are things which there are people who receive very clear and very specific cues, that this is what is coming from the past life. But I'm sure that they have either already cleansed their karma in this life, or they had not brought enough so that they could deal with that. But if we already have a lot on the plate, then it's important that we finish that first. That's all from my side.
Okay, thank you.
This topic of what you asked, Vanshika, there is no direct answer for this thing, because it's very hard to say this is what it is. So if we were supposed to know all these things, then we would not have born in a like a dementia state where we don't remember. So the whole point is that we are not supposed to know this. But at the same time, I also understand that many a times things happen in our life when we feel that we are very good people. We have not done anything to hurt anybody. We have not done anything wrong, and still, why so much wrong is happening to me? So
Yeah,
those
exactly
things,
my point.
yeah, yeah. So that happens, and that is when these kind of questions come. That what we are talking about. So um, two things you can do. One is there are good past life regression therapists who can help you to go in your past lives and figure those things out. That if you are really want to know that what happened, why this is, if you are so inclined towards it, you can do that. You can check it out and see. One of my uh, desires to do this as well. So I have not completed it. So me and Anamika both, we want to learn past life regression, and this is something which I want to practice as well. But but none of us have that ability to do it yet. So you have to find someone who can do it, and there are people who can do this and help you to get those kind of answers. And the second thing that you can do if you don't want to go down that track is live with this awareness that if you know that you have not done anything wrong to anyone, and you have been living a good life and you have been doing a good karma, not only just in actions but in thoughts also, then most likely what is happening to you is your past debts getting settled. Then that would be the most likely uh, kind of thing that I would conclude. Like I conclude that for myself as well. So that is how I concluded that I'm well aware that I have not done something like this for this to happen, and if it is happening, then that's definitely past life debts getting settled. And all we can do is settle those debts with grace, with full acceptance. So not add more debt to it. So not feel like you are settling it, but also feel like as if you are pushed to settle it, as if you are made to settle it. So if you it's like कि जैसे आपको दान दान दे तो रहे हो, बट ऐसे भावना से दे रहे हो कि ये मुझे देना पड़ रहा है, ये कोई मेरे को जबरदस्ती मुझसे ये दान करवा रहा है, तो फिर वो दान नहीं है. फिर इट विल नॉट वर्क लाइक दैट. तो अगर आप कर रहे हो तो डू इट विद दिस अवेयरनेस दैट this is happening and all this, and I'm like happily paying my debts, and then just don't add further to it, because if you are not going to be paying your debts with gracefulness, you are adding more, you are piling on more debt. Basically that act itself is now creating new debt, because you are feeling that you are not supposed to, you are feeling that this is wrong, ये कुछ अन्याय हो रहा है मेरे साथ. So you are now creating new debt by that thing. I don't know if that is making sense or not. So you can just tell me first.
No, but yeah, like it makes a lot of sense because recently only I have like what you concluded. I'm also trying to like not trying exactly, but yeah, initially जो इतने सारे inhibitions थे, every time I would keep asking कि इतना सब अच्छा मतलब कुछ किया नहीं है, why me, but वो आते आते now I have actually started accepting everything more gracefully and not trying not to जो बोलते हैं ना कि कुछ ऐसे करने से हम लोग और कर्म बंधन में बनते जाते हैं, मत बांधो कर्म बंधन. So it's like basically I'm trying to follow that path and it has actually really helped me.
Yeah. Yeah. In fact, me and Anamika have been talking on this topic for last 2-3 days. There are things that are happening in our own personal lives as well, and this is a topic that we have been talking about as well. That what we are discussing right now is something we have been in fact इस कॉल से पहले भी हम यही बात डिस्कशन करते थे.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's pretty evident from, after reviewing our lives, and we both ended up questioning that, यार हमने तो ऐसा कुछ नहीं किया था कि ये वाली चीज हुई. And then, although it's not that linear, that's how we feel, that's how the human mind feels, कि हमने तो कुछ किया नहीं था फिर भी हमारे साथ ऐसा हुआ. Maybe किया होगा कुछ, maybe unintentionally किया होगा शायद, कि उस टाइम पे ऐसी इंटेंशन नहीं थी बट किया, सो एंड वी डिड नॉट रियलाइज हाउ इट इम्पैक्टेड समबडी एल्स, सो इट इज हैपनिंग टू अस, एंड so that we can understand, not to repeat it unintentionally also. Can be that way as well, but the kind of things which were coming and happening. So we were like, we were genuinely looking into it. ऐसा कुछ किया था क्या? Especially, मतलब जो मेरा वाला केस था, उसमें तो इट वाज एविडेंट, और जो सचिन का वाला केस था दैट आल्सो वी डिस्कस्ड इन डेप्थ. दोनों के केसेस में वही चीज समझ में आई कि इट्स मे बी इट्स समथिंग वी जस्ट हैव टू गो थ्रू, कांट हेल्प इट. So all we can do is how gracefully we go through it.
Absolutely, I totally agree with you.
Yeah.
Anyone else? Hi Thirumalai, how are you doing? You are muted from your side. In case if you want to speak, you have to unmute yourself. Okay. While we wait for him, anybody else wants to say anything?
I have a question. So, about what are different ways of healing? What wounds? So, irritation and
Your voice is not very clear. Is it just me, or Anamika, are you able to hear
No,
him?
even I cannot hear him clearly.
We can't figure it out what you're asking.
is it audible now, Sachin?
Yeah, say some more.
Yeah.
So, I want to understand, in terms of healing, are there any specific methods mapped? For example, for relationship, you got some Reiki healing or chakra healing, something like that, or
Yeah,
different wounds, different kinds of healing.
that's right. That's right. So, yeah, different wounds, different kind of healing. So, Reiki healing, chakra healing, all these things that you are talking about is all fine. So, they are fine. They assist. They are there for the support. But we have to contemplate. So, without the contemplation part happening, without you actually introspecting on this, without you connecting with it fully, that where it is coming from, why it has come to you, why you were chosen for this kind of opportunity to come in your life, without fully connecting with this and without fully dissolving it, only these techniques are not going to be of much use. For example, if your mind is not settled around these things, no matter how much you try, meditation is going to be a very, very effortful job for you. And you will not be able to meditate. And if you are thinking of doing meditation to bring you calmness and settlement, then that is not the job of meditation to bring. The settlement will only come when you face that problem. So, not facing it, not resolving it, not dissolving it, and only trying to think that I just do meditate and then it will happen. It will not happen. It does not work like that. So, but definitely meditations have their own space in this process. No doubt about that. They will assist you. They will support you in this process. But thinking that I'll just do all that and then it will get fixed, then it will not. And every situation, every wound needs to be looked into. So there is no one size shoe fit all kind of a situation. Different types of wounds are there. When we talk about the inner child wounds, so we are currently, not currently, we will start working on one more e-learning journey on inner child wounds. So it is about becoming aware. So the whole journey will start with a self-assessment, and you take a self-assessment. It will tell you what kind of wounds might be there, and then it will go forward where you will have contemplation questions around it, that where it is coming from, how it has formed for you in your own situation, and what it has come to teach you, what is the lesson you are supposed to learn from it. And only when you face these questions, only when you do these exercises, they dissolve. But until you are courageous enough to face them, they will be there. Nothing will dissolve them. So we have created one e-learning journey on this attachment styles. So that is there. This will show the kind of, so there are 4 attachment styles which we talk about in this one. 3 of them are unhealthy, and the 4th one is the secure attachment style. So the idea of this journey is to move someone from insecure attachment styles to secure attachment styles. So moving from insecure to secure is not just we just tell you do this. It's not like that. You have to first self-assess yourself and figure out where you are. What is your attachment style right now? How do you respond to situations? And then based on that, it will tell you 3 possibilities, that this is what it is. Out of those 3 possibilities, 2 will apply to you. 2 of the 3 will apply to you. And we have created 3 different streams for each of these. So if this is the possibility, then this is the healing process. If this is the possibility, this is the healing process. So we have 3 different healing processes in there, and you would have to complete 2 of them, 2 out of 3. So in order to fully work on this thing. So without putting the time and efforts in, without seeing it, without committing yourself to do it, these things are not going to go away. That's how it is. So life will just keep going on like this, and they will just be there. They have always been there. They will be there until we die. Until we do anything about it, they are not going anywhere. They will go with us only, unless we take the control in our hand and we just say, no, enough is enough. I now need to do it. Do something about it. That's how we resolve them. So I mentioned yesterday as well that if you haven't joined and if you're not sure, I don't know for what reason it might be, but if these things are important and you are really keen about solving these problems, and still you are not sure, I declared that I am providing a 1 week free trial version also. It is ending today. Already the messages are there. One or two people have joined also to trial it out. I don't know what more we can do. We have created the journey, we have created this whole healing process. We are giving it for a free trial version also. अब करना तो आप ही लोगों को पड़ेगा ना. कर तो हम तो नहीं पाएंगे. So that's as far as we can go now.
Right. So I guess most of the people here, Vanshika, Jasprit, Hema, Rishmi, they all have subscribed. So, yeah. Now, going forward with the topic, is there anything you guys would like to ask or share?
So one of the things which was part of the topic is when the healing ends. So when the healing ends is, you will know. You will know. Simple. What tells you it's a wound, what the same thing will tell you it's healed. If today you are getting triggered by it, once you go through the process, you, ideally speaking, you shouldn't be triggered by it. That's the idea. If you are still getting triggered by it, two possibilities. You probably didn't do the process correctly, or maybe the process was not enough for you. Maybe you needed more. So we will only know when you do the process. So for now, when you have done the process and assuming the process is enough, and assuming that it is enough for the healing, then after you have finished the process, when the same situation comes in your life again, it should not trigger you. It should not trigger you in the sense, once again I mean, you will be triggered. We all get angry, sad, depressed about things, but it will not start taking you in those old memory lanes and you start getting fearful or projecting the old habits out and all those things. That will stop. That is how you know that you are healed.
Yeah. For an example, if you had some trauma and wound and you were attracting toxic people in your life, you will see that you no longer feel attracted to those people and what they do, and you will be able to see it more clearly, that how it was keeping you intact in that relationship. You are not, if it is irresponsible behavior, if it is manipulation, so you will not fall for it. You will be able to see through it, and you'll not feel also that, I mean, a very counterintuitive thing is that you feel pity for people. For an example, there are people who get attracted to people who have pain, a lot of pain, because they feel that बेचारा है, बेचारी है, इतना pain है इसकी life में. I will support them to handle that pain. So I will get into that pain so that we can suffer in that pain together. Right? So this is going to sound very counterintuitive, but you will not take responsibility for somebody's happiness or pain, and you will also take responsibility for your own happiness. Right? So we somehow, when we are in these codependent and trauma bonding relationships, we feel that we are responsible for other people. So they are responsible for themselves, and this looks very counterintuitive because we have been taught since our childhood that your job is to make everybody happy. That is, I'll not say that it is not, but it is something that each one of us should contemplate on. That is it really my job to make everybody happy and everyone should be happy? We can do things from that space of love already, but we don't start overburdening ourselves. That we don't leave responsibility. We don't take too much responsibility. So these are very small cues, because your behavior would change, and the behavior, like Sachin said, the same thing which was telling you there's a wound, the same thing will tell us that now we have healed from it, because we no longer attract to, pain and trauma and all those things, although we feel a lot of empathy. But it's not like we take excessive responsibility that, I am the savior and I am the martyr of the whole world and I am going to save everybody.
Anamika, I just have one question.
Yeah.
You were talking about probably you're paying off debt of your previous lives. So accept it with grace, right? So it's like, let's say you find a particular situation is toxic. So should you accept the situation and assume okay, this is what my fate is, or standing up for yourself, moving out of it is what is accepting it gracefully?
No, that is such a good question, Hema. So we were talking, I'll just take an example of healthy boundaries. So healthy boundaries, we were talking about it today only. Healthy boundaries are not like not having boundaries or creating walls. It is being in the middle, where you allow people to come in your life, but you also have your non-negotiables set, that I'm absolutely open, I'm vulnerable, come be with me, I'm all guards down. But that does not mean that you can do anything and you can control me or do anything. So it's being in that space of empowerment, that you are okay. So like you asked, that is it accepting it without doing anything, or is it, just like that, or is it doing something about it, right? So first thing we need to observe, where is it coming from? Our reaction, our action in the situation, is it coming from the past? If it is coming from the past, then we need to actually sit with it, because it is nothing but a reaction. It is not a response. It has not become a response yet. But when you come in that space where you see the pattern and you detach yourself from that pattern, it becomes of the present moment. And in that present moment, when you are grounded, like really in the now, and you see that something which is going on is not right, you take action and you say it out loud that no, this is not right, and this is a big no from my side, right? So it is being in that middle ground, that like I was a yin, there was a yin yang symbol. I was seeing that uh, uh, you know uh, what it said was being open and taking no shit. Okay, so hum bura karenge bhi nahi, we'll not do any wrong to anybody, but that does not mean that we have given right to other people to do wrong to us. So giving no, not giving in to everything, but also not, also not creating so many walls that now nobody is allowed to be vulnerable and I'm not allowed to be vulnerable. It's being there, and in that present situation, it's not a trigger anymore, because you have an emotion, you have anger. That anger is there, okay, and if somebody, you have clarity that this is my need, this is the next person's need, this is why I am behaving like this and they are behaving like that, and you're able to see the situation clearly and you handle it accordingly, right? So it is very situational and very contextual in nature, depending upon the situation. And in that situation, you personally can only decide that this is what is acceptable and this is not. It is about you setting healthy boundaries, that I welcome you, but that doesn't mean that you can control everything. I am in my power. Okay, I am in my power, and I'm also humble at the same point of time. So that's how it is, and it is situational. So if you want an answer for any specific situation, then you'll have to actually go in that specific situation.
Okay. And one more question. It's in a relationship, unless both of us work on our own and heal, are we going to create the same patterns, or
so there
better
are
to
two
stay?
things.
Yeah.
Let's suppose one person heals and one person is becoming self-aware, and he's or she is understanding that this is what is happening, and the other person is not. Okay, so there's one person which is evolving in the journey, but the other person is not evolving in the journey, right? So there could be two things. Either the first person should stop healing and stop evolving, right? Because the other is not. Or if so, they will decide not to move forward if they want to stay there. But if it is of importance that my evolution is important, so the one who is healing will end up, getting out of the relationship, because that person can see clearly that this relationship is not helping me, not helping the other person. There is no evolution in this relationship. So that is why, we use the word power. It is coming into your personal power, that I am like open and vulnerable and I'm allowing it. That does not mean that I'll keep taking all the shit which is coming in. So it is about moving forward together. So if it is a healthy relationship, both the people will, come forward and move forward in the evolution. If it is just one, then in the long run, either they both stop evolving, or they usually go way apart.
This what Anamika is saying, Hema, unfortunately, this is the brutal, honest truth. So, as much as we want to ignore it, or even if we know we don't want to face it, but that is the brutal, honest truth, that if out of two people, one person is evolving, working on themselves and all that, that relationship ends. That's the brutal, honest truth. Now, the ending may have many different versions. Maybe the two people don't decide to split formally. They may decide to just stay as it is, the way it is. They may stay in the relationship and continue the marriage or whatever. But I'm just talking from like a spirit point of view, that the spirit of the relationship is gone. There is nothing left. So just
It's like dead,
out.
right?
It's
Hollow
dead.
relationship.
It's dead. It's just for maybe for the society, for the family. You don't want to take the decision to divorce and all that. That's that. But it's dead. It's dead. And that is the brutal, honest truth, that a relationship cannot be the responsibility of one person. It never was. It never will be. It, either both of them work, as Anamika was saying, either both of them work and both of them evolve, or none of them work. Then both stay the same. Then also many a times it works, um, because it's still the same. Like both of then that codependency continues. So either stay in that codependency or work. And if one person has decided that I cannot be codependent, I cannot live like this. This is not me. And if they get up and they do something about it for themselves, uh, guaranteed that relation is dead. So just be prepared for that. That's all we can say. So it's an inevitable truth. It's an inevitable truth that sooner or later it will happen.
I think I've got my answer. It's basically like, the relationship is dead, it won't work, but still there's something that's holding you back from walking out of the marriage, like probably society or like fear or whatever it is. But
Yeah.
unless the other person he wants to evolve, I think it will not be able to work
No,
out.
no. So many times people stay in the same marriage for family, for society, and the most common reason is kids, for the sake of the kids and all that. And even if one person wants to work out, the other might use that card to make the other one feel guilty about doing this. Um, but it's dead. It's dead. It's not a relationship. It's just a blackmail happening, and one person being held on a ransom or something. There's nothing
So
left.
it's basically like healing will never happen if you're going to stay in the space, right?
Healing could happen. Definitely, healing could happen. I mean, see, healing will happen. Definitely you can. But the thing is that the environment will create opportunities for you to keep triggering. And ultimately, as human beings, we all want certain level of intimacy and connection. So, um, so you you will heal, but then your need for intimacy and connection is not going anywhere. If that is not getting fulfilled in that relationship, then you would still have that need and that desire for that intimacy and connection. And most people will not want to fulfill that need while they are in a relationship officially. So they would want to separate or divorce or whatever, like make it like the okay, this is finished now. I'm starting a new one or whatever. But they may not. You may not want to jump straight away from one to the other, and it's often my suggestion and recommendation is always to not do that. So do a certain level of healing. But once you have done a certain level of healing, you can become uh, a person who can shield themselves from all the shit that is happening in that relationship. So, okay, now you can shield yourself from the shit. That is fine. But your need for intimacy and connection hasn't gone anywhere, and you're not getting it from this relationship. So, you will still crave for it.
Yeah, and when you don't move out of that relationship, you think that you've saved the relationship and you end up, but you don't actually enjoy your life and you're not happy. So you're just seeing what happens in that case is that, you're still going to end up in the same place because the best choice for you in that situation sometimes was to move out of it, was to actually the thing which was required to be done was to go get out of that connection. And when you don't do that, you're just creating nothing, but you're just again getting back to the same pattern again. So that's how it is. Either way, if you're getting a chance to heal something and take an action and do something about it, and when you don't do it, it's going to take you nowhere. You're going to be in the same place because you did not move forward.
And also one more thing, like it's no way we can help a person who does not want to actually become self-aware, right? I mean, I just cannot pull along the person and say,
No,
I can never do that.
Are
Like,
you, are you asking or telling?
I'm asking, is there no possibility that
But I'm knowing that although you are asking, but you already know the answer anyway.
exactly?
yeah.
It's like sometimes you know the answer, but you're just hoping, like, you're just wrong. Maybe, like, you can make a
Some
change.
validation.
Yeah, exactly.
No, unfortunately, these things are the brutal truths, and I know that sometimes we want that. Maybe we would love to be wrong, but unfortunately, these are the brutal truths. And our intuition somewhere is telling us that this is what it is, but we just don't want to face it. We just not ready for it. We just don't want to accept that.
You
But
nailed it. You nailed it.
yeah. See, another point that you when you started the question. So another thing is, I personally believe that um, this is my own personal belief. No, nobody has to take it, but I'm just sharing mine. That I feel that uh, every soul is the purpose of every soul is to evolve. So that is the ultimate grander soul for when we talk about multiple lives, reincarnations, and multiple planets and multiverse and existence in more than one realms and all that. So we have been traveling in all these times and spaces, and the objective has always been one, to evolve. Situations come in our life that are there to teach us something. So when you ask that question that it's happening to me, am I supposed to take it, and what am I supposed to do? I don't know. Whatever feels right to you. If it feels right to you that you should take it, then take it. If it feels take it, then listen to your intuition. We can't tell you the answer. We can't tell you the answer that you should take it. Maybe for some people the lesson in that one is yes, take it, because they have not developed the tolerance and resistance for these kind of things, and the situation has come for them to develop the tolerance and perseverance for these things. So perhaps maybe the lesson in that one is for you to take it. I don't know. You would know. Each individual would know what the lesson is. But understand one thing, that whatever is happening, it has come to teach you a lesson. So until you are in touch with your own intuition, you will not know what that lesson is. Nobody outside can tell you this is the lesson. Your own intuition will tell you what that lesson is. So develop that, work on that, and get in touch with that. It will tell you, it will guide you, because whatever answer comes from there, you will feel totally connected with it. So when you are doing it, it will not feel you are pushed to do it. Even if the answer comes that this is a horrible situation that is happening, and right now what you need to do is take it, and you need to build thick skin, or you need to build some resilience or tolerance, whatever, then so be it. Maybe you have been a person who is very impatient all your life and all that, and the moment something becomes very hard, the first thing that comes in your mind is just quit, just leave it, and that is what you have always done. And now life has put you in a situation where quitting is not an option, but you are getting so like agitated by this fact that you can't quit, that now you can't quit, so you start whinging about it, you start venting it to everybody, you start complaining about it, you think somebody will come and rescue you, so you are feeling very victimized by this whole situation and all that. Maybe this is what the situation is trying to teach you, is stop doing that. And until you keep doing it, until you keep finding the exit door, this will not finish, because it has come to teach you that is not to find the exit door. Stay, face it, and build the courage to face it, and then that courage, when you stand and you face it, then the right kind of solution will come to you. Until you already know the solution of this thing is to find the exit door, then you will not look for any other solution, because your whole time you are busy looking for the exit door. So now life has taken all the exit doors from you, and now you are feeling very agitated, because all this time from childhood till now you have always taken the easy path out, and now no easy path out, and you have no idea what to do. So all you can do is just complain now, and feel victimized, and ask everybody to rescue you from this whole situation. But nobody is coming to rescue you. Nobody is listening to you or anything. Maybe this is the lesson. I don't know what the lesson could be. You, in all individuals over here, would know what the lesson is. But understand one thing, that situations come to teach us something, because at the end of the day, our ultimate purpose is to evolve. So look for the lesson in this situation. Look for what the lesson might be in whatever situation you are facing. What is it that you need to learn from this? And learn that. And if the learning is stay in this relationship, then stay. If the learning is leave this relationship, then leave it. Whatever the learning, you would know. Your own intuition will tell you what you need to learn. Maybe you have been the kind of person who has always been very afraid to leave a relationship, and people have mistreated you always, because they see that no matter how they speak to you, how they treat you, you will always be there. So people have taken you for granted all this time, and maybe this situation has come in a way that now the only solution left for you is to stand up for yourself, and take that decision that no, I am not going to be taken for granted. I'm not going to be repeating this. You know your life better than everybody else. You see what patterns have been repeating and where you need to put a full stop. Why this whole thing keeps coming in different shapes shapes and forms. So what lesson you need to learn? You have to answer that question yourself. Nobody on this earth can answer that question for you. Does that make sense?
Yes.
We can create all different kind of journeys that we are creating in our library. That's all what we can do. We can just tell you this journey is there, that journey is there. But to choose which one to take is going to be your job. We cannot tell anybody that you should do this unless we know your full life story, and then we can recommend. But we don't. We don't know each person's life story over here. So we don't know which one you should. We are creating journeys because based on all the incidents, all the wounds that we keep hearing. So you know your situation. You know what you need to be working on. So we have created the library. You pick the right journey. You start the right journey, and that's where it is. Okay. Any other question from anyone, or should we wrap up?
Hi, this is Rashmi here.
Hi, Rashmi. Yes.
Hi. Um, so I wanted to maybe ask the question that, okay, so I have decided, for example, that okay, this is my journey and I'm going on this journey, but there are also times when I feel that I'm very alone now, right? Because when I take a look at the other side of where I was and where I'm now, and how the society generally is, like there are सब अपना ड्रामा कर रहे हैं, but I'm away from the drama. But being away from the drama, you also become so alone. It's not that I'm afraid of being alone, or it's not that not I'm complaining about it. It's just that sometimes I feel by being away from the drama, keeping myself away from the drama, am I also because I have two girls at home, right? So there are times when I feel that though I kind of tell them that, okay, no, go ahead and connect with XYZ people, or, they are family, they are this, they are that. It's not that I'm not connecting as well, but my level of connection has changed, right? So the intensity of getting, like, I'll just give you an example to illustrate that better. I know that my mother's, the relationship between me and my mother are strained, and so is between me and my husband. Strained in the sense they are unable to understand that that there is nothing more, there is no more trigger, like what you said, that it's not triggering me anymore, right? So when they say that, okay, this is not triggering her anymore. So my mother, I called her this morning, and then she just spoke to me for a few seconds, and then she just gave it to my brother, and then I spoke to him for a long time. And I know there is a reluctance from her to speak. But when I tell my children to connect with her, then the question that they ask is, well, you are not doing that yourself, so why should we? Somewhere I feel, so my question here is that I know this is my personal journey, and that I'm taking it up, and then and that there are things that are getting affected over here. Somehow I don't want, consciously I have never asked my children, or, I've always told them that people are different and that they have their own journeys, and they're too young to understand maybe. But having said that, they're falling in this zone where they are suddenly alone too, right? So they are either too or are they feeling it? So I'm more concerned here about my kids, essentially, that I know that I'm on a different journey. I just want to ensure that it doesn't affect them. I'm trying my level best not to, keeping it very simple and keeping it very straight, and being honest about what I'm going through with my kids. I've had a conversation around this with my husband as well, with my brother as well, and there are times when they don't understand what I'm going through or where I'm going to or what I'm doing with myself, and I have no qualms about it. But having said that, does this affect children a lot? Like they're not sad children. They're very content with who they are. They do their own thing. It's not affecting their studies or their psyche. At least that's what I want to believe. Um, how is this going to affect people who are dependent on you? Like, say, children, for example, where we don't have a control of how they perceive and what they do.
Yeah. So I believe that it would be beneficial if you speak with them about this. I think they will understand. So the lesson that they are getting, they are basically comparing that since you are like this with your mom, so they are justified to be like this with you. So they are kids and they probably don't see things, but it is now time for you to talk to them and explain them that just because the relationship is same, that she's your mom and you are their mom and all that. So if A equal to B equal to C, here A equal to C doesn't mean like that. So it's not a mathematical equation like this. So you have to explain them that how your mom and you, if they are not getting along that much, then what is the reason, and it is your choice to respect that she thinks differently, and she you both don't connect with each other, and you respect that, and you don't want to change it about her. So whatever it is, whatever way she is, you both are leaving each other the way you are without needing to change each other. But at the same time, because of that, there is no common thing left between the two of you. So you don't really connect with each other because of that. If this is how your kids also feel about you, then just face that. If they also feel the same thing about you, that we are different, you are different, we don't connect with you, and therefore we see that this situation is same as what is there.
It's not with me. They are not able to connect with their grandmother, like my mother. Do you understand?
Yeah, I was about to ask the same question.
Yeah. It's not with me. It's just that they are feeling
they're
that
not connecting with the so you just so that is okay. You tell them, you teach them this thing, that it is okay to not connect. This is a good life lesson for them, that to respect that somebody thinks differently to you. So just connect as much as you feel like connecting. So it's okay.
Right.
So you don't have to force to fully connect with someone. So
Right.
just connect as much as you feel like connecting, because that is a good life lesson also, that we instead of trying to change someone,
Exactly.
we accept the way they are. We also know who we are, how we are, and we would just act accordingly. We kind of create जो formalities हैं life की, they need to be in this boundary. So they will also create a healthy way of communicating and all that, rather than they seeing this thing as कि अब हमको like they try to
Fake it.
कटना शुरू हो जाते हैं ना किससे, जैसे हमें ये लगता है ना कि इससे तो मेरी बनेगी नहीं, तो हम मतलब दूर दूर होने लगते हैं, ऐसे होने लगते हैं. So that becomes like a judgmental thing.
Correct. So I insist that they call them. They call my mom often. I keep asking, checking with them. Did you call your father today? I insist that my husband, like sometimes I said, did you call the children today? I mean that's something that I've been doing. But I know for a fact that I'm as I said, I sometimes feel that this is just my journey alone, and sometimes there are times when I feel am I in this entire thing of trying not to be a part of the drama? Am I am I just distancing myself from the usual, society thing कि family ऐसे होनी चाहिए, family वैसे होनी चाहिए. We have to strive. So I've gone beyond that, and now I'm sitting and contemplating. Okay, I've done that, and I've kept myself away from the drama. But is it
You
keeping me
won't
away?
believe, Rashmi, I and Sachin again have been talking about this from last maybe a few weeks, because I was venting it out with him that I don't really have a lot of friends. I have countable friends, like really 2, 3, 4 friends. That's all. And now I used to connect with them so much, and they're actually like my family only. There's so much love. So now the thing is that I don't connect with them anymore. Right? And it's not like that I don't want to and they don't want to, but it's just not happening.
Yeah.
Because I am in a completely different league and they are in completely different league. And it's just that we cannot even find one thing to talk about.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And
yeah, I get
and
it.
then it starts feeling like I can completely relate to what you're saying, because I was feeling that I understand that this is all illusory and drama and everything, but I still have to live here, and I crave that connection sometimes. Not sometimes, I was craving it a lot since I moved here to my hometown, because they are here, I'm here, but then we don't know if we meet what would we do. Because I am most of the time sitting silent, because they are giving advice and they are judging each other and everything, and I'm like, what do I do?
Exactly. Yeah, I'm in a very, very similar situation.
Yeah, if I say something, they would be like, ये क्या बोल दिया? ये तो समझ में नहीं आया. पता नहीं क्या बोल
तो
रही
हम
है.
तो बोलते ही नहीं है, हम तो बस ड्रामा देखते हैं और बस चुप हो जाते हैं. ठीक है, जिनको खेलना है खेल लो भैया, हमको इसमें but
the thing is that the human body is there, the mind is there, and वो जो एक basic needs होती है ना, to feel connected to people, that has not gone away. At least mine has not gone away. I can say that clearly. I love actually connecting to people, but I realized this one thing, that I love almost everybody. I love everything, but I don't like a lot of things. I mean, there are barely a few things which I like, and a few people whom I like. Love everybody, but liking is not there anymore.
Yeah. No, that way I connect with people like around me. I am somebody who doesn't have that difference between, at least I've reached that stage where I don't see people based on many other things, right? So how people would usually do. And I, even if there are certain judgments that come in, I become extremely aware that, oh, this is a judgment or this is a bias that's coming in. What am I doing about it? Or why am I feeling this way, right? So where is this coming from? So those are there. I do connect with everybody at their levels, but it is only to a certain extent. And beyond that,
yeah. So it has to be.
I'm happy to be myself. Thank you.
I can actually relate to that, because you connect to them, but you also need that connection. So you want to receive that as well, that somebody also connects with me and understand what I am sharing and talking. So yeah, that's how it is. I don't know. I mean, I reconnected with a few of my friends. That's what I did, because I realized that I was being resistant. I had created a belief that, I don't want new people, and I don't want to explore, and I don't want to get into more drama and anything. And so many things. So I had created a lot of, walls around me. कि अभी ये जो इतना लिमिटेड है ना, इसी में रहना है. But then I realized कि ये जो limited है, इसमें I'm not happy. So at least if not, it's not like tonight I'm going to wear, like a party wear and going to a desk or something. वो तो होगा नहीं कभी. But at least people who want to come in our life, so at least उनको allow तो कर सकते हैं. That's something I can do for myself.
Yeah, I keep myself open for that. That I have no idea why people are connecting with me. Maybe if I give them time, they may come up with something, or they may want to take away something from this connect. So that's something that I'm open about. But that exact, I don't know. There are times, yeah. Times it's very. It's not like I really am looking for anything, but suddenly it's like, okay, this is new. This is aloneness, and I'm comfortable with it. Am I getting too comfortable with it? Now that becomes a little scary for me. That I'm becoming too comfortable sometimes with it, and I'm okay with it. Is that how it's supposed to be? The question,
Yeah.
Is that how it's supposed to be?
Yeah, I mean, we all enjoy our company and we are happy, but it's fun to have, people around and share it with somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like what we were discussing, what I think Vanshika, or I'm not sure, Jaspreet, who was asking this question, that, is it necessary for the other? Because like, how do we know that, okay, I know that I have evolved, and now if I'm open for people to come into my lives, and how do I know that somebody else is also on a healing journey? Or is it like, is it necessary for both of them to be at the same plane and space, or the I don't know, like is it necessary that, okay, I'm in a relationship where the other person is not growing, fine, all right, and hence I know that, like my husband just asked me recently, so itne saal, what were you doing? Why now? And I said, why now? Because now is the time, as simple as that. And I think I have given enough to this relationship, and I think I want out, and as simple as that. Now my another question will also be, I will be meeting many people, I will be talking to many people, I am having a lot of friends at this point in time who are in a similar league like mine. I'm not actively looking for getting, like what Sachin was saying, it's not like you're out of one and then you're trying to get into something. But then I'm definitely looking for companionship. I'm definitely looking for that friendship, for that ability to connect, right? And keep that as a base of the relationship, and other things into perspective as well. And I also know that there is no perfect relationship, or that everything is perfect. But what if there's a person who comes along how do we gauge that they are on the same journey? It's not like,
yeah. So for that, Rashmi, this is exactly the point I was trying to make. That when we take that break in between, and we are working on our healing path, then you will be in that vibrational zone that you don't have to worry about this part.
right.
So ये mental question अभी है, क्योंकि you have not healed through it. Once you are healed through this trauma, this whatever you have gone through, once you got to a point, you will be in a very different space. ये question ही खत्म हो जाएगा, because वो फटक ही नहीं पाएंगे उस type के लोग वहाँ पे. ना तो you will connect with them, neither they will connect with you.
Correct.
So this filtering will automatically, nature will do this filtering
automatically do that, yeah.
So you don't have to worry about this question at all. Work on yourself. This question will get answered, will get taken care by the nature.
Okay. Got it. Yeah.
why we
I
get worried about this thing, why this question is so prominent and why people ask this, क्योंकि हम वो बीच का फेज हीलिंग वाला भूल जाते हैं। एक जगह से आए हैं, दूसरे में घुस रहे हैं, सेम वाइब्रेशनल फ्रीक्वेंसी लेके जा रहे हैं, तो ये क्वेश्चन तब बिल्कुल मैटर करता है। ये बिल्कुल वैलिड क्वेश्चन है उस टाइम पे, क्योंकि वो डर है ना। अभी तो एक्सीडेंट हुआ है, अभी नए में जा रहे हैं, देन यू विल फील कि हाउ डू आई नो द पर्सन इज नॉट राइट। ऑफ कोर्स you will not know because you are not the right person yourself, you are wrong person yourself. तो पहले you become the right person, then you question कि दूसरा right है या नहीं है। दूसरा तो हमेशा ही right होगा, wrong तो आप ही हो। because when you जो भी vibrational frequency में आप रहोगे, उसी vibrational frequency में ही next partner आने वाला है। तो next partner तो right ही था, आप wrong थे। तो पहले अपने आप को करेक्ट कर लो, अपनी वाइब्रेशनल फ्रीक्वेंसी को सुधार लो, तो फिर उस वाइब्रेशनल फ्रीक्वेंसी का राइट पर्सन आ जाएगा। पर्सन विल ऑलवेज बी राइट ओनली। तो ये क्वेश्चन का आंसर हमेशा वही आने वाला है। हाँ, आपको बाद में दिखेगा कि रॉन्ग है, क्योंकि तब तक आप राइट हो चुके होगे।
करेक्ट।
तो दूसरा रॉन्ग दिखने लगता है फिर। वो तो वही था हमेशा से।
Yeah, I get it. So as I said, I'm really not into that zone anymore, but you know,
that need is always there. We cannot deny that.
So that's what I'm not able to deny that.
That is why I was using the word intimacy and connection, because let's say, for example, maybe not everyone has a very high sexual need.
Correct.
The need for having a companion, for having a connection, and someone that you can talk to that intimately and all that, वो तो रहेगी।
That's the whole point. Like, you know, that's exactly what. So it's not all about the physical intimacy alone. It's also about so many other things.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. So all that will always be there, and I feel that we should all acknowledge all these things and there, but for some time we should park it aside. 3 महीने 6 महीने park it aside, work on yourself, heal your wounds, heal your traumas, come out of this vibrational frequency that we are give ourselves 6 months or something, and then the right person, when we go to the next band of the frequency, उस बैंड में जो भी राइट पर्सन वहाँ पे होगा, वो अपने आप आ जाती है। अंडरस्टैंड वन थिंग कि आप जिस भी बैंड में रहोगे ना, वहीं के लोग आएंगे, और वो हमेशा अपने आप में तो वो राइट ही होंगे। नेवर बी अट्रैक्टिंग एनी रॉन्ग पर्सन।
Correct.
Always be attracting right person only.
Because I'm at that
frequency, your own vibrational frequency is wrong.
Vibration. Got it.
Correct. So fix that.
Yeah.
हाँ, तो वो क्वेश्चन अपने आप it gets taken care of कि if you are worried कि will the next person be correct or not correct, the nature will take care of that, क्योंकि laws of nature are like this. So you just work on your frequency, laws of nature will take care of your partner.
Cool. That's it for me.
6:40,
Sorry
I
if I've
guess.
kept others.
Now we should wrap it up. Yeah. No.
It's okay.
I guess
everyone
everybody.
is still here.
Yeah. So.
Like I'm sure they are all enjoying and finding it useful. नहीं तो चले ही जाते हैं, हम किसी को रोक तो ही सकते हैं.
Yeah.
If people are still here, then I'm sure
there must be something to relate to. Yeah. Cool then.
So should we wrap up, guys? All good?
Yes, I'm good.
All right. Okay. Thanks, Rashmi. Thanks, Hema.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you,
everyone.
everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Bye.
sir. Thank you, Anamika.
Have a good evening.
Bye.
Thank you. Take care. Bye bye.
You too. Bye.